Welcome to Newsdesk on Celebration TV. I am Comfort James.
And I'm Femi Mark.
And the news making the rounds.
Please stay with us as we bring you details. Watch robust, objective, analytical, informative, educative, entertaining and inspiring news on Celebration TV News Desk. Every weekday, 11 a.m. GMT plus 1. That is 11 a.m. GMT plus 1 on Mondays through Fridays.
You are welcome to Sports Corner. I am Ivan Agafe.
Celebration TV News Desk. The whole truth. To 15.7 trillion naira at the end of December 2019.
Senior Democrats have responded by accusing him of committing a gross offense.
The All Progressives Congress has vowed to punish the Ogun State Governor, Ibikule Amosu. Welcome to Newsdesk on Celebration TV. I am Comfort James. Thank you so very much for joining us. Quickly, a look at the news making the rounds for today. The APC National Chairman and Edo State Governor extend war to Governor's varsity certificate. Burundi President dies of cardiac arrest at 55. NHS waiting list could hit 10 million this year. The federal government suffers 1.01 trillion naira revenue shortfall. Madrid could host Champions League final, says Mayo. Stay with us while we bring you the news in details just right after this time out. Welcome back, and now the news in full. The APC National Chairman and Edo State Governor extend war to Governor's varsity certificate. The National Chairman of the All Progressives Congress, Mr. Adams Oshomole, and the Edo State Governor, Mr. Godwin Obaseki, criticized each other over the first-degree certificate presented by the governor from the University of Ibadan. Oshomole in Abuja at the inauguration of the APC screening and appeal committees for its members contesting governorship primary in Edo State expressed doubt over the authenticity of Obaseki's University of Ibadan certificate. But the governor, through his spokesman Crusoe Osage, challenged Oshomole to go and confirm the authenticity of his certificate at the University of Ibadan. He also said the national chairman should tell Nigerians the university he attended. The dispute, which began last year between Obaseki and his predecessor, has defied efforts of the APC governors and the African richest man, Aliko Dangote, to reconcile the two politicians. Doubting Obaseki's University of Ibadan certificate, the national chairman directed the screening committee to confirm it from the nation's premier university. And moving forward, Senate President Kicks asks Presidency stalls revised budget consideration. The consideration of the revised 2020 national budget was stalled on the floor of the Senate following the exclusion of the 186 billion naira health sector component from the proposed fiscal document. This is as the Senate President Ahmad Lawan expressed anger over the development, saying that the situation will not have arisen if those saddled with the responsibility of putting the budget together had been meticulous and responsible. Chairman of the Senate Committee on Appropriations, Senator Barau Jibrim, had on resumption of the plenary drew the attention of his colleagues to the non-inclusion of the fund in the revised budget. The development invariably forced the Senate to step down the consideration of the 10.5 trillion naira revised 2020 budget forwarded to it for consideration by President Muhammadu Buhari about 2 weeks ago. chairman of the appropriation panel explained that the budget office failed to capture the entire 500 billion naira intervention fund for COVID-19 in the revised bill. Jibrim said while 314 billion naira was captured as part of the intervention fund, the balance of 186 billion naira proposed for health sector was not captured. In another story, protest over Northeast exclusion of airports reopening. National Assembly members from the Northeast geopolitical zone, including the President of the Senate, Ahmad Lawan, have protested the exclusion of the geopolitical zone in the reopening of some airports by the Federal Ministry of Aviation. The lawmakers under the aegis of Northeast caucus led by Senator Danjuma Goje made the protest. The caucus of the National Assembly comprises senators and members of the House of Representatives from the zone. The group said despite the fact that the zone had several airports, none of them was selected for reopening by the ministry, unlike the other 5 geopolitical zones where at least one airport would be reopened. It expressed displeasure at a meeting that was well attended by the members, including the President of the Senate. And coming from around Africa, Burundi president dies of cardiac arrest at 55. Burundi's President Pierre Nkurunziza, aged 55, had died after suffering a cardiac arrest. He was admitted to hospital after feeling unwell. His condition, however, improved, but later he had a cardiac arrest and efforts to revive him were unsuccessful. After 15 years in power, Mr. Nkurunziza was due to step down in August. In 2015, the announcement that he would run for a third term plunged the country into chaos. It sparked anger as some questioned the legality of the third term bid. There was a failed coup attempt, hundreds of people died in clashes, and tens of thousands fled the country. After a change in the constitution, he was able to run for a further term in last month's election, but he decided to retire and was to be known as the supreme guide to patriotism. He was also due to receive a $540,000 retirement payout and a luxury villa. The official statement announcing the president's death said he was taken ill the evening after helping out a volleyball match in Ngozi, northern Burundi, on Saturday. He went to a hospital but appeared to be recovering on Sunday and was able to communicate with the people surrounding him. The situation, however, rapidly changed, which led to his death. And still from around Africa, Tanzania opposition leader hospitalized after attack by unknown assailants. Tanzania's main opposition leader was attacked by unidentified assailants as he entered his home late at night, just months ahead of a general election. Freeman Mbowe, the leader of the opposition in parliament and chairman of the Chadema party, was rushed to a health center for treatment after he was attacked overnight in Dodoma, the administrative capital. Dodoma Regional Police Commander Gilles Muroto told reporters. A climate of fear has grown in the East African nation, rights groups and critics say, as President John Magufuli seeks a second term in the October election that shows no sign of being delayed despite the coronavirus pandemic. Critics accuse Magufuli's administration of curtailing freedom of assembly. Since 2016, opposition rallies across the country have been banned. Earlier this year, Mbowe and 8 others were sentenced to serve a 5-month jail term or pay fines for charges including conspiracy to commit offenses, unlawful assembly, sedition, and incitement. Chadema Secretary General John Nyika said the attack was reminiscent of one in 2017 when former opposition legislator Tundu Lissu was shot by unknown gunmen at his home in Dodoma. Lissu was rushed to a Nairobi hospital before being transferred to Belgium for further treatment. To date, no one has been arrested. Lissu has said he will challenge Magufuli for the presidency in October. Mbowe, however, has not announced any of such plans. Right now, we will be taking a break, and when we return, we shall be looking at more updates, but this time around from the United Kingdom. Stay with us. Welcome to Newsdesk on Celebration TV. I am Comfort James.
And I'm Femi Marks.
And the news making the rounds.
Please stay with us as we bring you details. Watch robust, objective, analytical, informative, educative, entertaining and inspiring news on Celebration TV Newsdesk. Every weekday, 11 a.m. GMT+1, that is 11 a.m. GMT+1 on Mondays through Fridays.
You are welcome to Sports Corner. I am Ivan Agafe.
Celebration TV Newsdesk, the whole truth. From a vision, we began a mission. Now we're here. A long journey with a beautiful now, touching lives, blessing homes, bringing the best of entertainment and reaching the ends of the earth by revealing Jesus and releasing destinies. It's been 7 years of God's perfection. Celebration TV at 7. Happy anniversary.
Welcome to Newsdesk on Celebration TV. I am Comfort James.
And I'm Femi Marks.
And the news making the rounds.
Please stay with us as we bring you details. Watch robust, objective, analytical, informative, educative, entertaining and inspiring news on Celebration TV Newsdesk. Every weekday, 11 a.m. GMT+1, that is 11 a.m. GMT+1 on Mondays through Fridays.
You are welcome to Sports Corner. I am Ivan Agafe.
Celebration TV Newsdesk, the whole truth.
Welcome back. Still on Newsdesk. NHS waiting list could hit 10 million this year. Health bosses fear the coronavirus crisis could see the number of people waiting for NHS treatment double to 10 million by the end of the year. The NHS Confederation said challenges include a backlog of cases, maintaining social distancing and staffing. The body, which represents health and care leaders, said emergency funding and longer-term spending were needed. The Department of Health has said it will continue to provide the resources, funding and support the NHS needs. Guidance has been issued on how the NHS should start to restore services in a safe way. It comes as Prime Minister Boris Johnson is to announce further plans to ease lockdown restrictions in England later, with zoos and drive-in cinemas among the businesses expected to be allowed to reopen from Monday. Mr. Johnson will lead the daily Downing Street briefing, where he is also likely to face questions about the government scrapping plans for all primary school children in England to return to school before the summer break. Projections by the NHS Confederation show that the NHS waiting list is expected to rise from about 4.2 million currently to about 10 million by Christmas. This assumes the health service makes a steady return to full capacity within the next 12 months. In a new report, the NHS Confederation said healthcare services were operating at a reduced capacity of about 60% because of infection control measures. And more updates from the United States of America. George Floyd's funeral hears call for racial justice. The funeral of George Floyd, an African-American whose death in police custody spawned global outrage, has had impassioned pleas for racial justice. Speakers in the church in Houston, Texas, lined up to remember a man whose crime was that he was born black. Mr. Floyd died in Minneapolis last month as a white police officer held a knee on his neck for nearly 9 minutes, his final moments filmed on phones. 4 police officers involved have been sacked and charged over his death. His coffin was taken from the church, driven in a motorcade to the Houston Memorial Gardens, where he was to be buried beside his mother. One of Mr. Floyd's nieces, Brooke Williams, called for a change in law which she argued were designed to disadvantage black people. Mr. Biden has sharply criticized Mr. Trump, accusing him at the weekend of making despicable, speculative remarks about Mr. Floyd. But the Democratic politician was himself recently accused of taking black American votes for granted when he said African Americans aren't black if they even considered voting for Mr. Trump. And now to business. The federal government of Nigeria suffers 1.01 trillion naira revenue shortfall. The negative impact of the coronavirus pandemic has resulted in the federal government recording a revenue shortfall of about 1.01 trillion naira in the first quarter of this year. The drop in revenue, according to documents obtained from the Budget Office of the Federation, was primarily due to the dwindling revenue inflow into the Federation's account. The pandemic had so far led to unprecedented drop in global crude oil prices. The outbreak of the deadly virus in Nigeria had resulted in the lockdown of many states, a development that has paralyzed economic activities. For instance, out of the prorated revenue target of 1.96 trillion naira set for the first 3 months of this year, the federal government could only earn about 950.55 billion naira. Based on the analysis of the revenue projection, the 1.01 trillion naira shortfall represents a decline of about 52%. Still on business, the Central Bank of Nigeria to finance 1.6 million farmers this year. The Central Bank of Nigeria is to provide agricultural funding for about 1.6 million farmers during the 2020 wet planting season. It was learned that the bank would support the farmers in the cultivation and production of 10 key agro-commodities. The CBN outlined the commodities to include cotton, rice, oil palm, tomato, cassava, poultry, fish, maize, cocoa, and livestock dairy. The bank's Director of Development Finance Department, Yila Yusuf, disclosed these in Abuja at the inauguration of farm inputs distribution for cotton farmers for the 2020 planting season. Yusuf said the financial support to the 1.6 million farmers would ensure food security for the country, particularly after the devastating effects of COVID-19 on the agricultural sector. Right now, we'll be taking a quick break, and when we return, it will be news from the world of sports. Stay with us. Welcome to Newsdesk on Celebration TV. I am Comfort James.
And I'm Femi Mark.
And the news making the rounds.
Please stay with us as we bring you details. Watch robust, objective, analytical, informative, educative, entertaining and inspiring news on Celebration TV Newsdesk. Every weekday, 11 a.m. GMT+1, that is 11 a.m. GMT+1 on Mondays through Fridays.
You are welcome to Sports Corner. I am Ivan Agafe.
Celebration TV Newsdesk, the whole truth. From a vision, we began a mission. Now we here. A long journey with a beautiful now, touching lives, blessing homes, bringing the best of entertainment and reaching the ends of the earth by revealing Jesus and releasing destinies. It's been 7 years of God's perfection. Celebration TV at 7. Happy anniversary.
Welcome to Newsdesk on Celebration TV. I am Comfort James.
And I'm Femi Mark.
And the news making the rounds.
Please stay with us as we bring you details. Watch robust, objective, analytical, informative, educative, entertaining and inspiring news on Celebration TV Newsdesk. Every weekday, 11 a.m. GMT+1, that is 11 a.m. GMT+1 on Mondays through Fridays.
You are welcome to Sports Corner. I am Ivan Agafe.
Celebration TV Newsdesk, the whole truth.
Welcome back. And in sports news now, Madrid could host Champions League final, says Mayor. The mayor of Madrid has said the city is being considered as a potential host of this year's Champions League final and has given the idea his total and absolute support. The fixture was due to be played at the Atatürk Olympic Stadium in Istanbul on May 30th before the Champions League was postponed in March with only half of the last 16 completed. The final last season between Liverpool and Tottenham was held at Atletico Madrid's Wanda Metropolitano, while Real Madrid's Santiago Bernabeu hosted the 2010 decider between Inter Milan and Bayern Munich. UEFA is yet to confirm how or if the tournament will continue, with an update expected after the governing body's executive committee meeting on June 17th. Domestic leagues like La Liga in Spain and the Premier League in England are due to finish in July, allowing the possibility for European competitions to resume the following month. Still on sports news, Nigerians decry poor state of stadiums. As the lockdown of sporting facilities across the country continues, Nigerians have lamented the deplorable state of major stadiums across the country. Reports had it that the Moshood Abiola National Stadium, Abuja, was in a bad state 1 year after it was named after the presumed winner of the 1993 presidential election, Moshood Abiola. After the report for the pictures emerged online of other stadiums in the country, which were also in deplorable conditions. Minister of Youth and Sports Development, Sunday Dare, had earlier announced that business mogul Aliko Dangote had agreed to adopt the Moshood Abiola Stadium. Dare's media aide John Joshua Akanji, however, said the coronavirus pandemic was responsible for the inability of the ministry to renovate the stadium. In another statement, the sports minister said the ministry needed 10 billion naira to renovate sporting facilities in the country. And that's the size of the news for today from Celebration Television News Desk. But just in case you missed out, here is a recap of the headlines. The APC National Chairman and Edo State Governor extend war to Governor's Vasti certificate. Burundi President dies of cardiac arrest at 55. NHS waiting list could hit 10 million this year. The federal government suffers 1.01 trillion naira revenue shortfall. Madrid could host Champions League final, says Mayor. And now to the photo of the day. Be strong enough to walk away from what's hurting you and be patient enough to wait for the blessings you deserve. I think this is quite explanatory. However, you should be able to identify when it is time to let go of something and what isn't worth holding on to. At the same time, you also should be able to sustain, to endure, to be able to achieve your target goal. Anyway, that's my thought on the photo of the day. We also want to hear from you. What are your thoughts on today's photo? Kindly reach out to us to share your comments and your reviews via our social media platforms. On Facebook, it is Celebration TV. On Instagram, My Celebration TV. On Twitter, at My Celebration TV, and on YouTube, Celebration TV. Remember, the continuous transformation of our society is a collective responsibility of all. No matter the office you hold as a nation's president, a thought leader, an opinion molder, a character builder, a professional, or as a person pursuing passion, you have a duty to give your all to making the society a better place for us and the generations to come. So, play your part and do it with all diligence. I am Comfort James, and thank you so very much for watching.
To 15.7 trillion naira at the end of December 2018.
Senior Democrats have responded by accusing him of committing a gross offence.
The All Progressives Congress has vowed to punish the Ogun State Governor Ibikule Amoso